Hey, Lolo here. Before we start, I just wanted to mention the fact that before we recorded this, I had a Windows update, which apparently changed some of my audio settings that I did not unfortunately realize until after my recording. The main thing that it seems to have affected is my noise gate. So I will, when I'm saying something, things will just kind of cut out occasionally. Unfortunately, it's something that I couldn't tell until afterwards. Hopefully, it doesn't affect anything too bad, but just wanted to let you know I am aware of it, and hopefully it should be fixed for the next one. Okay, on with the show. This week on Media Delta, Doom. Is the Doom the fact that it's based on the video game Doom? Or a description of the next 2 hours that you're going to spend watching this movie? Hello, and welcome to another episode of Media Delta. We got a movie today. Um, because it's Halloween and we're doing spooky movies, and we needed another one that was based on a video game. Our choices were good um, because of the stuff we've done. We are, as of this recording, currently going through Silent Hill, and there's also the House of the Dead that got a movie, and there's Doom. And I put it to a poll in Doom 1. I think that we kind of depending no matter what the winner of that one was, I think we're gonna probably have the same outcome.
No
Um,
matter who wins, we all lose.
yes.
So
Because we're good.
trifecta of terrible.
Yeah.
I think Silent Hill is the most tolerable out of all of them, but
It
that's not saying
is.
much.
Yeah. We're
Yeah,
setting the bar pretty low there.
yeah, that's you're gonna trip on that bar. Um, but yes, we're doing the let's see, what the 2005 Doom movie. Um, yeah, this was a thing. Directed by someone who I believe they're Polish, whose movies I have not heard of any of the movies that they've done. Also, unfortunately, they have a very Polish name, which I apologize for butchering this, but it's Andrzej Bar- Barkoyak, maybe something
Sure,
like
go with
that.
that.
Um, and yeah, has not done anything else video game related, I believe.
He did Street Fighter: Legend of Chun-Li.
That's right. He did do that. That other stellar piece of filmography. That
Yep.
is that. So yeah, we watched that.
To be
Um,
fair, he was a cinematographer and director of photography on a Goo, like actually decent things.
He did
Like,
Romeo Must Die, which is pretty good.
yeah. But like for cinematographer and photography work, one of the big ones were like Falling Down. He did
oh wait, he
Speed.
did Falling Down.
Hell yeah.
As director, yeah, as director, like cinematography.
That movie has some good cinematography too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, I take that
movie's
back.
great.
This guy's actually done some decent stuff. I did Species. I've at least heard of that.
Director of
Dante's.
Speed.
photography for Lethal Weapon 4. Oh.
Reminds me, we got to find a way to somehow jam Falling Down into the Media Delta lineup.
Yeah, it's called Grand Theft Auto because that movie follows the Grand Theft Auto weapon picking order. Because if you think about it, he starts out with a baseball bat, then just gets a Tech 9, and then eventually gets a rocket launcher somehow. I forgot.
Yeah.
Also, U.S. Marshals, which if I remember correctly, that actually had a game associated to it. But nonetheless, he has actually done some cinematography stuff, but his directorial stuff um, is hit or miss. It seems
Oh
like
man, he did Cradle to the Grave.
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard
It
of
had
that.
Jet
Oh,
Li and
yeah,
DMX.
I see that now. Because I thought Cradle of the Grave. When I saw Cradle of the Grave, I thought that was like, oh, maybe that's just a Leprechaun movie. I don't know why. That just
What?
for some reason I had the feeling of a subtitle, but probably because I'm thinking of that one. Was it
Leprechaun Back to the Hood.
Yes.
See, I was thinking of Tomb Raider Cradle of Life, and that's fucking dog shit.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh goody. Once we get the Tomb Raider stuff, we can do those movies.
Oh, good, yes.
Yeah.
Guess what else we could do? Blood Rain.
Oh yeah. I guess with the
No, I
new
refuse.
with the new consoles, we can.
Either way,
Obviously, I was not the only one who watched this, by the way. So why don't we go and introduce the other voices that have been speaking?
Hi, I'm Axe, and I'm here for Resident Evil done badly and in space.
Hi, I'm Deathmaster780. And you're all doomed. Doomed.
I'm
Dude.
Torpotypist, and I'm here for the evil.
Yeah.
The serial
Um,
killer.
Yeah.
The evil chromosome.
Riverdale was right all along.
I love eugenics. Yeah, so this 2005 rendition, or trying, I don't even know if rendition's a word or like a proper word for this because it's kind of its own thing. It doesn't really, there's like bits and pieces that it follows from like Doom, like that it takes place on Mars. UAC is involved somehow. There's the BFG. That's a there's like you fight there's like supposedly that thing was supposed to be a Hell Knight, the thing that was fighting whatever the hell that guy was in the cell was supposed to be
Destroyer.
a Hell Knight. Yeah, Destroyer, that was supposed to be a Hell Knight. There's an obvious Pinky Demon because it's funny because the guy who turns into Pinky Demon is named Pinky.
It's great.
This movie is very subtle with its references, like the doctor's Dr. Carmack. Was it Dr. Romero or is this a person named Romero?
There was the dead Dr. Romero.
Yeah. So yeah. Why don't we just go ahead and get into the meat of this? So Axe, what's your general impressions of this movie? Is there anything you want to specifically call out first?
Okay. I was hoping we would go with your other questions, but we'll go with that one. This movie sucks. This is this is easily on par with Uwe Boll's Fair. Slightly less crappy than that, but still.
Oh,
This is an
Not that bad.
unenjoyable. Huh?
it's not that bad.
Yeah, that's
I've seen
being
it, though. It's
mean
worse.
to
I
this
said it.
movie.
I said it's slightly less painful than an Uwe Boll film, but it still has that level of competence and just respect for the material. This movie does whatever the fuck it wants with the entire plot, and just kind of eschews all the things that made Doom interesting or fun, and somehow just turns it into this giant, bland, mediocre mass of of nonsense. Bless you. Bless you.
It doesn't help that I feel like aesthetically, and a lot of it's just piggybacking off of Doom 3 more than anything.
Yeah. Yep. I could definitely see that.
Because like comparatively, Doom 3 was it came out the year before this movie, so
Yeah,
to give
it's
some context.
it's very obvious in their choices for their monster designs.
How incredibly fucking dark it is.
The
Yeah.
pacing of it is
This-
super slow.
I want to once again mention this movie is incredibly fucking dark.
Yeah.
It was about as dark as watching The Relic, and only I'm gonna really get that reference.
It's because that's one of the thing. Like one of my key things I hated about this movie was the fact that it is way too dark. It's like it the only other movie that I can think of that had this issue, and I don't know if this is just the way that I watched it initially, and also this is a much better movie because at least the story behind it was interesting. Blade Runner was another movie that I remember having an issue, like this level of issue watching. But then again, that could have also been the way that I watched it, which was through a Wii U.
Okay, yeah, that's your issue. Also, I'm just saying, it's a miracle that Carl Urban wasn't walking around beating people up with a fucking flashlight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where,
And it's a
where's the-
shame. It's a shame because Carl Urban, I think, makes a perfect Doom guy. I think he's exactly the right person for the role, but he doesn't get that role. He gets the role of some random Joe Schmo numbnut.
John Grimm,
John Grimm, just
the Reaper.
Yes, Reaper.
just if we're gonna go with painfully white, let's just go with John Grimm.
the thing is, because the thing is that he does kind of become the Doom guy for about 10 minutes,
Yeah,
but for the rest of the movie, he's just sci-fi McDude.
because I
Just
remember reading at one point that the Rock's character Sarge was supposed to be the Doom guy during one part of production, and it's just like he's the Rock's just not a good and convincing villain in this film, which he turns into, and just overall they just mess every single thing that you could possibly imagine up. And I don't know how you can take a story that's simply portal to hell opens up, bunch of Marines try to fight back, and you're like the only one who manages to survive everything. Like that's the plot. How do you fuck that up? Especially to
Uh,
such a degree.
Don't forget a lot of demon murder. So much fucking demon murder.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're fighting demons. It's demons. It's not evil gene, it's demons.
rip
Ah,
and tear.
yes,
Until
where's
so-
my rip and tear?
Grip it and rip it.
Rip and tear until it is done.
Man, now I'm just thinking that we need to do, because theoretically we could do this, because in the scope of the show, we need to do an episode of the Doom comic.
Oh man.
Ah,
Oh man.
uh,
that fucking comic is a wild ride, and I'm glad they made the fucking memes canon.
Yes. Yes. Is there anything else you wanted to go over, X?
That's my overall thing is that this movie fucking sucks.
All right. DM.
yeah, this was bad. I don't really know what to say other than it's
I was going to
just
say that could be it.
because like there's a lot of nothing happening in this movie. Like it's a long time before shit finally starts happening. Before that, everyone's wandering around in dark corridors being assholes to each other.
It's also, in general, a long movie too. It's almost
hours.
2 hours, and
Yeah.
that is
An
way-
excruciatingly long 2 hours.
Yeah,
Especially because everything happens in the last 20 minutes.
yeah,
Yeah.
It's yeah,
And like most of the characters like that are terrible to be with. Like special mention goes to Portman,
yeah,
the big piece of shit. Spends most of his movie being a creep. And
I think his Destroyer was also a creep.
no, Destroyer was the say
no,
the,
yeah, because it was. Let
it
me.
was the I'm trying to
Who was his
Duke.
brother then? Duke,
Yeah,
that was it.
yeah, Duke, who was not as shitty, but he was also a creep.
Yeah, yep. So, that what you want to call it?
Yeah, like the only thing I'll give this movie is it had a decent cast. That they had The Rock, they had Carl Urban, they had Rosamund Pike. Most of the B characters were also had some decent actors. Doug Jones was in this as some of the monsters.
Hmm.
But that is all from me.
All right, Torpo.
Oh boy. This movie fucking blew. This movie sucked a lot. Also, yeah, it was a misery. And it's like, so it's incredibly slow in plotting for the first hour 40. It decides to be this sort of like slow horror thing, but it doesn't do the horror well. And B, it kind of misses the point. Once again, it pulled too much from Doom 3 more than anything, and even Doom 3 was better paced than that. On top of that, I need to go back to the evil eugenics thing, because holy fuck. It is some awful shit.
Yeah,
Because this movie posits that within the human chromosomes are markers for being evil, like doing evil bad things.
in the 24th chromosome.
No, it wasn't the 24th. It's throughout the human chromosomes. The 24th chromosome made you superhuman, which is a different beast entirely.
Yeah,
And that they got through So basically, it's also weirdly a zombie movie too.
yeah.
Which I mean, yeah, there are zombies in Doom, but they were never really quite the massive focus.
They're the dudes who you kill to get the shotgun.
but they were more functional than the ones in this movie, if I'm gonna be honest. Uh, but yeah, it felt the need to go on this thing, so which is why Carl Urban, who despite having actually killed people under other people's orders and just not been a great person, was considered good enough to not be turned into a monster by the 24th chromosome.
He just wasn't evil enough. You have to work harder to earn that boon from the
He
from
didn't
the
have
chromosome.
he didn't have quite enough renegade points.
And it was like the really incredibly questionable decision. Like, for reference, Doom Guy, the original Doom Guy, the whole reason he got sent to Phobos specifically, was because he was asked to kill civilians, and he beat the shit out of his commanding officer.
So much so that he put him, I think, in the hospital.
Yes.
I think something like that.
So he got carried off to Phobos for that, which is where everything went to hell.
Yep.
And Carl Urban, his character didn't really do much of anything in the grand scheme of things.
Yep. No Daisy.
No Daisy.
Yeah, no Daisy.
That's it. I was surprised that they went with the sister angle and not the ex-wife angle,
Yeah.
even though he basically treated her like an ex-wife.
Yeah.
But I'm grateful for that, because what we absolutely didn't need was some love triangle bullshit or a romance option
Yeah.
in our Doom movie.
Yeah. I'd have to have been a 22 for that.
And some of the monster designs were interesting, but they were only in the fucking final sequence.
Yeah. That is the only even quasi redeemable part of this movie is those last 10 minutes.
Yeah, there is a first-person shooter segment that is the best part of the movie.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, basically, there are other movies that are entirely that, but it's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
It's gonna talk about fucking Hardcore Henry and how it's a terrible, not a good movie, but an experience.
Yep.
Yeah, Lolo and I were talking about that before.
Yep. Also, really came up on a completely different thing. Like, I was watching something, and the person was like, "Oh, I like movies involving cyborgs. Let me tell you about Hardcore Henry."
Hardcore Henry is a fucking wild ride.
It's also available on YouTube, and I pieced through it, and it's just the one scene that I see is like, "Oh, there's a dude on the roof trying to do some grappling thing. Oh, he's on a farm for some reason. Oh, that's that guy's nuts getting crushed."
Hardcore Henry is non-stop, unrelenting violence.
All
was also-
caught on a go cam.
It was very funny. It's one of those movies that's fun to go look because all movies on IMDb have it is the parental guide. It's like one of those movies like that, and like Caligula is also a fun read for the
God.
parents guide.
And I've seen that movie, and
Yeah, that's a
that is a movie.
yeah. Yeah.
Also, one of my other favorite parts about the FPS segment is it's supposed to be Carl Urban's character, but it feels significantly shorter because Carl Urban is 6'1", which is not short. But then the actual segment just feels like you're fucking waist high.
Yeah,
all
it
the
feels like
time.
super short. It's like I know this is not an experience that a lot of people can done, but I have done VR still, like first person shooters in VR, while sitting down, and it feels like that where you feel super low to the ground if you can't adjust it, and it feels really weird.
It's magical. I'd still say though it is the best segment. But
It
yeah,
i-
so much of the movie.
I was say it is the best segment.
It is, and
Yeah.
it's not. That's not saying a whole hell of a lot.
And then Carl Urban and Dwayne Johnson duke it out, and it's really unsatisfying, honestly.
Yep.
Yeah.
He beats him by teleporting him back to Mars and then just dropping a grenade in. That's it.
And then doesn't the movie end directly after that?
Yes, it ends
Yeah.
right there. It's questionable, put it
Yeah.
kindly.
Your thing.
Fuck.
I'm gonna agree with that, Simon. This movie's hot garbage. It's bad. Like, I extremely did not like this movie. Like, one, it's just so nothing happens. It's just it's one of those things it's like you watch like halfway through, it's like, God, I'm gonna have to watch this, and then it's like, why did it have to be 2 hours long? Is the thing that I questioned. It's like I just ugh.
Also, I do want to mention nano walls are such a fucking weird plot contrivance.
Yeah, like what was like it's just basically it's like a door that it's like a wall that opens up as a door, isn't it essentially?
It can turn, yeah, semi-solid.
Why not just have a door? Like a steel
'Cause
door.
then how else would we trap a demon in it?
Oh yeah, there were no monster closets either. No proper monster closets.
Yeah, there's not a lot of things in this. But yeah, um also on a personal side note, because it's a as I mentioned, one of the things that I am not a huge fan of horror movies is this movie is it's not super gory, but it is pretty gory. Um, one other thing on a very personal side note that I think the dog die for having, um, there is I'm emetophobic, essentially, which means I do not like vomiting, and there's vomiting in this movie, which is a first for this. So I'm gonna get yes, another
Uh,
just another cherry on top.
yeah, right near the start, basically everyone fucking visually vomits.
It I'm glad that I thank you, Does the Dog Die, for existing for letting me know that, because I would have probably turned off the movie at that point. Ugh. So just another extra personal cherry on the top for this movie. So yeah, is there anything? I don't even know what to call out for this. Um, just movie didn't need to be 2 hours long, and I will say that first person segment, like, oh, that's kind of neat. Also, kind of dumb too. Like it's like, oh, it's the first person. Like the one thing that this movie is like known for. It's like, oh, it's this first person segment. This is actually kind of stupid.
It doesn't fit. Like it's completely out of place for the rest of the movie.
Yeah, just yeah.
They could have just as easily done the entire movie in that kind of sequence, and it would have worked out probably better than what we got.
It would have been more interesting. I will give it that. But yeah, that is my take on this movie. So Torpo, what are your thoughts on the setting slash characters for this adaptation of Doom?
The setting is garbage. It's fucking horror sci-fi trash. It's completely uninteresting. There's like two pieces of like super technology, and they're both weird and dumb. Like the fucking teleportation orb, which only once they're like, yeah, you could send your legs to some other part of the world and then come back and be bisected, but it's fine. And then that never is actually relevant, even once. Which, like,
Huh?
you'd think, oh, during the final confrontation with the Dwayne Johnson, that like that would be relevant, and they'd
See,
fucking.
that's the
Hmm?
thing that pissed me off about that final thing. I thought that he was going to get killed by being bisected by the teleporter thing, but no, I couldn't at
Nope,
least have that.
nope, just a grenade.
There's a lot
And
of Chekhov guns in this movie that don't get fired.
and then there's the nano wall, which is such a weird concept, and just I still don't understand why it was put in. And they use it for one
Do,
scene
do you
where they
think?
catch demon, and then immediately he's fucking gone next scene.
Do you think that maybe they put that in for like a nod to like secret doors, like
Maybe,
just random walls that you can open up?
I don't know.
Could be, but I feel like that's giving them a bit too much credit.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, but yeah, and then the actual characters, most of them don't fucking matter. Portman is absolute fucking garbage and incredibly gross. There's the kid who exists to be nervous and do drugs.
Yeah,
And have morals at the end.
and then
Yeah.
gets beat the shit out of him into a rail.
Well, he got his head blown off by the rock because he refused to
Oh
his
right,
legs.
yeah, that was that guy. Yeah,
There was Destroyer who kind of existed then died.
yeah.
There was Duke who creeped on Carl Urban's sister and then died.
But he was one of the good ones. Or no, that was Destroyer, right?
Yeah, Destroyer was the good one. And oh yeah, there was also Goat. Forgot about him. He was the religious
Goat.
one.
Goat existed, yeah, and then fucking died. There's the one part where he was carving a cross into his flesh because he took the Lord's name in vain, but then he died shortly after. I think he was the first Marine to die.
Yep,
Yes.
because that's a. I'm pretty sure, like maybe I don't know a whole lot of things, but I'm pretty sure that most like Christian sects do not like that is a big no-no. Like penance to that level. That is something you find in like the Middle Ages. That was something that was weird in Castlevania with Isaac or was Hector? Isaac.
It
It
was
was
it was
Isaac with the self-flagellation, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I thought that was I thought that was kind of dumb, but it like a little bit like ludicrously over the top.
But
But it's-
then, yeah. It's like Carl Urban's character has zero personality whatsoever. Just absolutely fucking none. But it's fine. He's a good guy despite having done awful things. So whatever. Evil gene, yada yada, all that. He exists and doesn't. I don't know. I didn't care for him at all. He had zero personality and existed slowly. He was essentially a walking plot device.
yeah.
And Dwayne Johnson's character was a decent commander, and then like halfway through the movie, he just suddenly
It
becomes this evil extreme dude.
yeah, it's like they had the thing, it's like, oh, we needed like a General Ripper kind of character, but we done ran out of characters. Let's just make The Rock that guy, even though that kind of doesn't make sense.
It was the evil gene.
I will say there's at least some build to his going insane. It's like right near the start when they get there, like Rosamund Pike's character basically gets him to forgo evacuating the people to go save the research data because it's in the rules. And he's like, "Oh, the rules! We gotta follow the rules."
To be fair, though, it sounds like he's kind of fighting it too when he says that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
there
maybe
is some build to him slowly losing his mind, so it's not completely out of left field, but
wasn't there something like they were kind of saying that something about the things that they were researching were causing people to kind of like lose grips?
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I still feel like it was kind of it could have definitely been done better. Yeah, that's there's The
Yeah,
Rock.
and honestly, that's all of them. Oh yeah, there's also Sam, the main character sister, who is really uninteresting.
It's just, hey, here is your required scientist.
Enjoy your sister wife.
Yes.
It's one of those things that feels like it was changed pretty far into production.
The problem is sister wife is just reminding me of mom. Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I have to say.
All right. Damn.
Well, I don't know. Terrible, like everything else.
Yeah.
Like what else is there to say? It's
Yeah. That's. I think Darpo covered it a lot because I really don't think there's really anything.
There
anything
isn't much to
else.
cover. There's barely anything
Oh.
there for most of the characters.
There are like the people who in the initial bit get like possessed,
I guess.
but it's like Dr. Carmack who is zombie.
Panicked scientist. There's Pinky, who's snarky scientist.
Also, like there's also like the thing that just it's like the whole also start bit with the lady getting her arm caught in the elevator also just seemed kind of dumb. Like it's the thing, it's like oh, what's that movie that I was trying to think, there's a particular movie that I'm thinking that had a woman whose head gets caught in an elevator.
Resident Evil.
Possibly. Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
when everything's going to shit at the Umbrella headquarters.
Yeah. Yeah. Wasn't one there also Final Destination that had that happen?
A
Yeah.
lot of shit happens in the
Lot.
Final Destination movies.
Yeah. I would
Okay.
much rather watch the worst of the Final Destination movies than any of this movie.
Yeah, remember how the Resident Evil movies killed one man?
Laser hallway.
Yeah, Laser Hallway.
No, I
That's-
mean like actual people.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot about that. That's gonna be fun when we talk about.
It's fine. It's the fifth one where it all happened.
Why
Excuse
is
me,
there
the sixth
more?
one. It's the sixth one.
Why is there 6 of them?
Because Paul Anderson pulls in the money.
Yep. Also, I just realized that Monster Hunter is a PS2 game.
Yep. Which means we
Great.
can eventually look at the Monster Hunter movie
Great.
and be sad.
Great.
Also, the original Monster Hunter's not that good.
I
Mm-mm.
know. I know. Yeah, just flashbacks to future things, which I guess technically is a flashback, but nonetheless.
Flash forward.
A flash forward to pain, whether it be the Resident Evil movies or Monster Hunter. But don't get me wrong, I actually like the Monster Hunter kind of bad.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else you could think of for DM?
No.
All right, Axe, do you have anything you want to add?
The great philosopher Homer Simpson once said, have you seen those sucks? They sure did suck. Boy, did they suck. And that,
Ye-
I think sums up this movie. They were the suckiest sucks to ever did suck.
Yeah.
And
There-
it sums up this film quite neatly in terms of character and setting. Like, sure, okay, we're on Mars. You got that right. Good job. Here's a trophy, or a nice little medal.
the thing also is you're on Mars, as they say, because you really don't see anything that's like, oh, this is Mars. It's just another set.
Yeah, you never see the outside. You never actually do anything with the actual planet. Like in the original Doom, all the locations were connected via weren't even connected really. You had to go out on the surface to reach each one, and even then, plenty of them had windows and vistas that allowed you to look out onto the planet. Because if you were to just cage people into these windowless structures, that would cause serious psychological issues. So even the set design is just atrocious in its own way. And then you got the characters we've mentioned. They're boring. Even Carl Urban, who is basically Doom Guy, and Doom Guy doesn't say much in the original games. In fact, Doom Guy doesn't say anything at all. But
It's
still,
all in facial expressions.
yeah, there's way more facial expressions in just those couple of sprites than there are in all of Carl Urban's performance. And I don't particularly blame Urban. Urban's actually a pretty damn good actor. And even Dwayne Johnson is a pretty damn good actor too. They're just given these really, really boring roles. And it's just an absolute shame, because there's so much you could have done with the basic story and the basic characters. Like, I took a shot at writing a Doom script, and I never finished it because I kind of got bored. But like, what I did was I went to the Doom Bible by Tom Hall, and I looked at the fact that they had characters all fleshed out, kind of fleshed out for the game that got dropped. So there's plenty of material there for them to work with to create a decent adaptation, and they chose to use none of it, which just leads to this boring, uninteresting. Like Torpid said, the first hour and 40 minutes, nothing happens, and then at the end you get your the FPS sequence, which is all right, and then you get the final fight with The Rock, which is awful, and then the movie just ends in a sad fart.
Yeah. Also, something to actually mention about Carl Urban as Doom Guy. You know who's also another character that's relatively stoic and doesn't like lost my train of thought. Like doesn't like show much emotion and basically like just kicks a lot of ass. Judge Dredd,
Yeah,
Oh, you're
which
going Judge Dredd.
which Urban goes on to play and does a kick-ass job as.
yeah, he does a really good job as Judge Dredd. That movie's really good.
Which goes to further reinforce my point that, they could have gone with that kind of character if they had just written him better, or made him interesting in some way, it could have been fantastic. But no, it just had to be generic white dude, fighting with other generic white dudes on Mars against not actually demons. And it's
And
just like that's not what we came here for.
yeah. Although, on a side note, because it just reminds me whenever I think of that movie, um, when I first watched that movie, it was just something that was on, and I was watching, and I confused the Dread remake to the RoboCop remake.
Ah.
So I thought that was a PG-13 movie. Then that dude's head goes on fire, and then was really confused.
Well, funny fact, Spaceballs is still a PG film.
Yep. Well, 80s PG is weird.
Yes.
Huh.
But I still think it's one of my favorite funny little things.
Yeah.
Because I used to work at Hollywood Video, and they said that the most we could put in is a PG film, and they kept refusing to let me put in Spaceballs, despite the fact it's a PG film.
You should have put on 16 Candles instead.
But I
Except
will say,
maybe not.
a third of the Marines were not white. Thank you.
That technically is true about how many of them are evil.
Right.
Thankfully, they at least had Destroyer be
Yeah.
one of the good ones, because I feel like they had to do that, or else that would be extremely not good.
There was also pretty much all the scientists were white.
Yeah.
Yes. So there was like 4 or 5. Oh
There
no,
were a lot of
except there's a
scientists.
lot of them, right? Because in that little open, that is true. Because yeah, that was the thing. It's like, boy, it's good that they had to point out the Destroyer was one of the good ones, because they didn't. That's going to that eugenics thing. Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah, I'm glad that they added in eugenics in this movie.
Yeah.
Just totally excited that we had that plot point.
Yeah, that they didn't make it worse. They already took something. They could have had it be incredibly bad, instead of they just made it just normal bad. Yep. So is there anything else you want to talk about the characters?
Nah, I'm good.
I sure don't have anything to add. So I didn't think of a third question, so what I figured what we'd do is just, does anyone have any other things they want to bring up about this movie? An airing of grievances, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that they could have fucking done. They could have at least tried to recreate some of the levels. Like, you wouldn't have to recreate the whole level, but you could make something familiar, like Hangar. Hangar is one of the most easily recognizable levels of the game, and all you'd have to do is have that first starting area with the 4 pillars and the lookout over the toxic pool. You could have done something like that. No, didn't bother doing that. Could have
That was it.
thrown the key cards in there and maybe had like red, white, and blue key cards and have something interesting happen when you use them. Like, say, you use it and a code pops up and it's one of the cheat codes. There's so many freaking things they could have done that they just decided not to do, and instead gave us a Paul Anderson-esque crap fest.
I would say Paul Anderson, despite how questionable quality those Resident Evil movies
lot
are,
more happens.
is at least a lot more.
It's
happens.
also true. It's also true. It's
This-
more of the failing to adapt something correctly.
Yes, this did not have a laser hallway.
Also, I do feel worth mentioning. I would say this does take heavily from Doom 3. I think is the problem here.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the biggest
which-
issue.
Despite that being like a horror shooter, still a lot more happens than happens in this movie.
Yep.
Also, it doesn't even use the fucking shotgun.
No, there is one shot in the first person shooter segment in which we're very clearly a shotgun shot, because I think their assault rifle is meant to be one of those that have like a shotgun underneath it.
Oh well, those underslung shotguns. I don't care. It's not the
Yep.
shotgun.
It's not the Doom shotgun, because that
It's not-
thing clearly had more range.
It's not the Doom 3 shotgun,
Yeah,
which
it's-
has the most amazing spread I've seen from a video game shotgun.
Might as well be in Penthouse, that spread.
we don't get we get the
I argue it's
BFG.
more like Hustler.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but like weapon wise, what do we really get in terms of weapons that are
The BFG.
recognizable? You
Yeah,
get the BFG and what? That's about it,
I
really.
think
That's it.
I think doesn't a chainsaw show up?
Yes, he does use a chainsaw,
Yeah.
Because it's like because
except
they're
he
just
sucks with it.
one of the characters does have a minigun, but that's not a
It's
chain
not the
gun.
chain gun.
It's not. Yeah, it's not the same.
To be fair, the chain gun's not a chain gun, but
Yeah.
Yep.
It's just there are so many things from the actual game that just they decided to not use. That's kind of the overarching point of my grievances is I really wanted to see. I wanted to see the shotgun. Hell, you go ahead and put in the super shotgun, even though
no,
that's
there was no
technically
hell.
doomed. Technically, that's doomed too. No portal to fucking hell. Where's the portal to hell? That's like the key point. That's the entire point of the game. Is there's a portal to hell, and they had portals, but none of them went to hell because
There was one
everything was
portal.
Resident Evil. They took it and they basically saw Resident Evil and they're like, yeah, no, we're just gonna make that and put Doom on.
Also, just to be just incredibly nitpicky here, people do use pistols in this. Neither of which are the pistols that are, the one that's based off of the M92S. The Rock does use a Deagle though, because of course he does.
I mean, they gave Pinky a gun, and Pinky immediately just fucking ate shit.
Okay, yeah. So I'm actually looking at a picture of the prop, which looks really dumb, of the assault rifle that is in this movie, and there is a very poorly mounted shotgun underneath it. It looks really bad. Like this is a really dumb looking assault rifle.
Just everything about the movie, everything in the movie is dumb or boring or you can't see it because they decided that lighting would cost money. It's just that's just figuring I mean I figure despite them taking heavily off of Doom 3, I feel like a lot of it is also budgetary stuff.
Yep.
Just keeping the budget low.
Also, excuse me, according to the Internet Firearms Database is calling us out that apparently Goat carries a shotgun but never uses it.
Okay, but that's still
It's
doesn't-
also not proving, it's not helping its case because why was he using the shotgun?
exactly. I will whine about that. Why doesn't he use the damn shotgun?
Yeah, but no, he uses the Doom shotgun, or better yet, the super shotgun, which is
Right.
the best shotgun.
Yes.
We don't even get the luxury of the super shotgun from Doom 2.
I'll say, what's the super shotgun in Doom?
I think
I
the
don't
super
think so.
shotgun appears in every
Also,
Doom
no
game
plasma
post
rifle.
to.
No plasma
no
rifle
plasma.
either.
No plasma rifle, no rocket launcher.
No berserk pack.
Also,
Although-
the BFG fucking sucks.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Isn't the berserk pack the thing that he takes and that makes him
I suppose I suppose you could say that's basically the berserk power up.
yeah, and that's what leads to the first person segment. It's still just an atrocious film from head to toe, from the writing to the acting to the set design to the characters themselves. This is just a shitty film, a complete 180 from the last film we watched, The Addams
Yes.
Family.
Yes. Yeah. Is there anything you would want to call out, Torpo?
This movie fucking sucks. God, the BFG sucks so much in this, and it's disappointing.
It
'Cause
has
just fires out a pile of gloop.
Why does it have a V? It's like it has like it looks like a Y.
The BFG is just this. It's supposed to be a rectangular hunk of metal.
Yeah. It looks too sleek. I'm kind of curious, like, I wonder if there's like because like all the stuff in Doom was taken from like models and stuff. Is there an actual BFG model? Okay.
No.
Oh, great. Because that's the Doom 2016 shotgun or not shotgun BFG. That's not what I'm looking for.
None of them look like this one. They're all usually flat on top completely.
Actually, you know what? I'm going to be completely honest. The BFG in any form looks really dumb.
Yes, it's a dumb fucking block of crap.
Oh,
Mm.
wait, is that what it's supposed to be? Because I just found like someone actually made a model. Because it's like if you think about like Doom, like the actual like original Doom, and you think about that weird little thing on it, like that I thought was stock. I didn't realize there was supposed to be like two of them, and they go on each shoulder, which makes it look even dumber.
Because I found
Yeah,
the
that
movie BFG.
the movie BFG looks dumb, but also to be fair, so does the Doom 2016 version of it. None of them look good
I mean, look, the BFG never looks good, but
That's just
it's
because it's
that's
not supposed to look good.
it's the big fucking gun. That's all it needs. It doesn't need to
yeah,
look
I
good.
do love this is the first mention of the Bioforce gun.
Yeah, they call it the Bioforce gun.
Yeah, just God, just
Oh,
grow a
well,
pair.
I mean, I was reading a version of it. So one of the games calls it the big fancy gun, which I kind of actually like.
It might be the RPG.
No, it was. I forgot Doom RPG existed, but I think it was one of the Quakes because it shows up in Quake.
Officially, the BFG doesn't technically have a name, but everyone knows what it stands for.
Yeah, because it's the Quake 2 manual. The Quake 2 manual says it stands for big freaking gun. Yeah, I'm from. Where did it call it? Oh, I thought for a moment I misread Hell on Earth. I thought that it was in Hexen for some reason. I remember being in Hexen. Be funny if it was in Hexen.
I don't think it is.
It definitely isn't because it's not. It's not Quietus. It's not. I was for a second. I almost remembered what all the three ultimate weapons in Hexen were called. I know one of them's Quietus. Nonetheless, um, it looks stupid.
It looks so dumb.
Oh, it was the pinball game where it was called the Big Fancy Gun, which apparently this has a. Oh, right, because it was in, like, I think it was in 2016 or three.
I also remember that the BFG gets fired only once during the movie, and it doesn't actually hit anybody, and it doesn't actually kill anybody.
I think technically because it's fired once when Portman's getting killed, and also during the last thing, but you can barely tell because he just completely misses it.
Also, at one
Yeah.
point, it was fired off screen because
Oh.
there's a hallway turned to gloop from it.
I suppose.
It's so unsatisfying.
Yeah, but yeah, nonetheless. Okay, DM, is there anything you want to add?
No,
Okay.
bad.
Okay, let's go ahead and get to ranking this. So we are going to rank this using our normal 1 to 21 scale, with 1 being absolute mastercraft, nothing can be changed to make it better, and 21, which is a complete garbage, not even fun to watch ironically, just avoid at all cost. So X, what's your number?
Put this in the trash. This thing's a 21.
Okay. DM.
I'd actually put it as a 20
Okay.
because I have seen worse things.
Like Doom Annihilation.
Annihilation's fucking awful.
Why is it with secondary ones, which are even worse than the original, being called Annihilation?
Also, there was no excuse for Annihilation being so bad compared to this one.
Yeah. Torpo.
I would say 22 because there is worse, but also it's fucking awful. Also, like the way to do this would be like a John Wick style fucking slugfest.
Yeah. Or like Hardcore
Or Hardcore Henry, that would work too, yeah.
Head.
But just anything other than what we fucking got.
See, I was also thinking 21. Because if I were to compare this, because having the list up, it definitely is not 19. Because I believe Sonic Saturn, as much as we kind of went to town on that when we were first ranking, miles better to watch than this. The thing that I am thinking is we got Panzer Dragoon at 20. And I kind of feel like Panzer Dragoon was a kind of a trash fire, but I feel like it was more of a trash
Watchable.
fire, or less of a trash fire than this was. Because also, Panzer Dragoon was 45 minutes long.
Also, a lot happened in Panzer Dragoon. Oh my god.
That is true.
Too
But
much, some might argue.
that is true. But 21, we have Megami Tensei Digital Devil Saga, which I would absolutely agree. I would probably watch that about as much as I'd watch this. And Parappa the Rapper, which that one might be a edge case, because that one apparently has a little bit to do with taste. But I I kind of would rather watch Parappa the Rapper than this, because that's at least my stance on it. Um,
I guess my issue is I've seen worse, and I'm not quite sure
Yeah.
where to stand on that.
So
Yeah.
I was thinking that because I'm like, yeah, technically there are worse films. There's like the Uwe Boll films. My way that I'm looking at it is this: if you is to kind of think about it as like a failing test grade. If you get like a 50 on a test compared to a 20, there is degrees of difference there, but they're both failing. And I feel like at some point, something that is terrible to watch, like somewhat not pain, like I'm being slightly hyperbolic when I say painful to watch. Like, yes, there are degrees, but also it's not like, yes, there are worse, but in comparison to this, I feel like it is.
Well, there's also kind of how you determine what a number one is, where it's like it's the pinnacle of its genre. It's you know, and this movie is kind of on that opposite end of the spectrum, where this is how you do this kind of movie wrong. The action is bad. The basically any scene with people talking is bad. Just from start to finish, it makes mistakes all the way down. Granted, it's not Uwe Boll level mistakes, yes, but I feel like if we hold everything to Uwe Boll, none of these are going to get 20s until we actually start hitting those Uwe Boll flicks.
The other thing that I was thinking of is actually what I was thinking of as how we were justifying Adam's Family getting a one. Because when we were doing that, or at least for me, I the thing with Adam's Family is that I could not think of a single thing that I would do differently. In the fact that, well, also it helps with the fact that for comedies, we're not gonna for this particular list. Though this is an action movie, there's plenty of action movies for that. So I even with that, I still feel like personal 20. So if either Torpo or DM, if you want to make a case for
I mean,
want to make a
I'm
case
not gonna fight for it. I don't feel strongly either way. I just know this is fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
If
I
it
was
gets a
thinking
if it gets a 20, I'm not gonna piss and moan about it. But I just personally I feel it's bad enough that it sits at 21.
Yeah, I guess in my brain, I'm not sure quite how to justify the difference either way. So
the thing that
Yeah.
also
Go ahead. Don't say in a minute.
so the thing that I'm thinking of is, especially now that I kind of know how I'm going to deal with the case of um gradually trying to re-evaluate some of these. Um I feel like putting it temporarily in 21 would make sense. But if we do, when we run out of every other movie in existence, decide to do Doom Annihilation, and we put that there, I can see the case for moving Doom up to 21 or up to 20. Because I think right now, with what we have here, I feel like this is a 20. This is probably the one of the worst things that we have watched so far. Now, granted, the one thing about Parappa the Rapper that we would say, we at least finished this movie. But then again, Parappa the Rapper was a series, and it makes sense. They actually had logical stopping points.
I mean, if you think about it in terms of action films as well,
Okay.
too, and you compare it to Die Hard, which is what we consider a pinnacle of action films, this fails every single step all the way down.
Yeah, because I was thinking, the problem is what we have in the bottom is kind of hard to describe because it's not like it's a lot of weird OVAs that we have, with the exception of Sonic Saturn, which I feel like this is in any case. So in that case, feel that we should. I personally feel it should go 21, but I'm just trying to. The problem is now I'm trying to think ahead of trying to get like stopgaps for future things. But then again, we don't have anything in 21 that is like this kind of thing. So I feel like if we have an actual like big like a theatrical movie like this in 21, that would at least give us at least a little bit of an idea for like what is a 21, because Megami Tensei and Parappa the Rapper are very special cases, with the exception of Megami Tensei just being complete garbage. But also Doom is something that's recognizable. That's at least my thoughts. DM, you were thinking?
I still say 20 just because, again, there are worse things. And if I'm being perfectly honest, I wouldn't mind seeing this again. I have seen this several times. Like, it's a bad movie, but it's not like the dirt worst I've ever seen. It's, I don't know. So you need to get some Uwe Boll movies on here, and then you'll have your good 21.
Yeah, then that's
Like, and like I said, there are maybe a couple good things about this movie. Like I said, I think the casting is pretty good. They didn't do much with them, but like
that is true. And I thought the first person shooter segment was kind of dumb, but it's definitely
fun.
interesting. It's fun.
yeah, it's fun. So like there's some entertainment to be had at points. So it's not the worst. That's all I can say.
See, that's the thing, is that actually put it like that. I wish that if it did, I wish it wouldn't break the thing if I put 20 asterisk or 20.5. So I feel like this is teetering on it. But I do kind of feel that, yeah, there is a very slight glimmer of potential from this. It is not the complete worst.
I like that this has had the most discussion of anything.
Yeah. Well, this is actually something that's actually worth thinking about other than the Doom movie.
Just how much of a pile of shit.
And what type of pile of shit is it?
Just a mediocre one.
Like, did you just get it with the bottom of your shoe, or did you walk into it barefoot?
Is it in a spot where it's going to get on the carpet?
Oh, it's 100% getting on the carpet no matter. Were you wearing a sock or were you barefoot? That's the difference. I have stepped in a lot of dog shit barefoot. Let me fucking tell you, it's me.
I once went face first into it
Ugh.
and that was because it was at night and I didn't know that there was some laying there, and I slipped and fell.
Look,
Oh,
I'm just saying, there's something sad when you've developed a technique for removing dog shit from your foot and cleaning it off.
that's just putting on a goddamn pair of shoes.
No, I'm not gonna wear shoes in the fucking house.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. I was about to say that.
We're not uncivilized here.
See, I was thinking it was outside, which is raising questions for me. But okay.
I was outside for mine.
That makes sense. I was thinking that it was a case of. I was not thinking it was a case of house training failure.
One of the dogs is really good at shitting outside my door.
You know what? I'm gonna do the coward's way out. Okay, flip a coin. Heads 20, tails 50. Or, tails 21. That's heads. What the hell is this coin design anymore? That doesn't even make sense. Nonetheless, we're putting it 20. Should we decide to change it later, there is mechanisms now that we can do that. Also, this is the 50th episode, by the way.
Wow.
Yay! Happy 50.
Happy 50.
Good choice for the 50th episode.
That was completely unintentional too. I was more concerned about the episodes 2 or the episode 2 episodes from now. Where I was going to say where we actually watch a good movie, but we're actually kind of.
Gotta save something good for episode 69, though.
What's next?
I am going to have to. Next week's. I will go over it in a moment. Let's see.
Okay. I'll sass you appropriately. Oh yeah, next week's fucking good. Next week is real good.
Yes. Oh, I forgot. I need to copy and paste the guy's name. This was a theatrical movie. Genre. What'd you call this horror?
Sure.
Action horror.
I don't
Yeah,
have
it is action horror. Like, at least tries to be.
Yeah, I'm gonna put act because I don't have action horror.
Call it boring horror.
It's gonna yell at me if I do that, but I would do that. I'll do action and then give it the spooky tone.
Ooh.
Add an asterisk to the action and an asterisk to the spooky.
Also, it's great because going to the content thing, I was looking at there because I had kind of forgotten that we have a few extra things that's not just Y and G. I was wondering what um what I meant in the list for um gratuitous body noises. Then I remembered that I marked it with the letter F. Why? Because yes, the dishonorable for me. VG. What do we call it? Like gory plus? Is this like
I wouldn't say so.
During the first person segment, some of it gets pretty graphic.
because let's see because the only other gore plus thing the two gore thing we have it for aliens and Ghost in the Shell. Ghost in the Shell definitely. It, I kind of can't remember the gore in Aliens.
I think Aliens is for the kind of gore more.
Yeah, I'll just put a G. Okay, is there anything we want to call out for music, charm, cinematography, storytelling, action, and art?
Thumb it all
Yeah.
down.
Sequence was interesting, but other than that, no.
There was music. Oh yeah, there was music.
There
and
was a lot of butt rock.
It
Yes,
barely
especially
registered.
The FPS sequence and the credits.
Yep.
It barely fucking registered.
Let's see. How do I want to register this first person segment?
Maybe a light bulb. Put light bulb under
Sure.
storytelling.
Well, I was thinking cinematography.
Ah, okay.
And yeah, I would say the story's kind of bad. The charm's bad. Action's actually really bad because everything's so dark you can't see anything. And the art is kind of bad. Okay. Nay, definitely the one thing I'd call out immediately is length.
Really fucking long.
Also, yeah,
I'd say oatmeal because it's
yeah. All right. And yeah, I can't think of anything. Sure.
just thinking about evil eugenics.
All right. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Definitely. Yes. Okay. I think that is good for the Doom movie. 2005's Doom.
More like dumb.
Yes, indeed.
Got him.
Okay. So, yes, that is going to be it for Doom. So, before we talk about what we're doing next week, Axe, is there anything you want to play?
Yeah, still running my horror movie festival every night at 6 p.m. Links in the liner notes. And after October's over, I'll be back to streaming at twitch.tv/axeimmortal.
All right. DM.
To stream at twitch.tv/deathmaster780. And I run a movie night on Saturdays at 10 p.m. EST on my Discord. And links for that on my Twitter.
Okay.
Twitter.com/deathmaster780.
Okay. Torpo.
Twitch.tv/torpotypist and at torpotypist on. And I would love to plug the holes left in me by both these not demons and the gunfire from after I became a zombie. Then Torpo was the.
Yes. All right.
You are the demon.
The demons were the friends we made along the way.
There were no demons. You have no friends.
Exactly. Exactly.
There was that scene where the hallway, a bunch of people got shot, but nonetheless. So yeah, that's going to do it for Doom. Next week, we're talking about something that I have not seen, but we have definitely done a game based on it. We are talking about Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust, which I have heard things about Vampire Hunter D, never seen any of it. So this will be another fresh experience for me. But yes, that'll be next week. And that I think actually will be our last spooky movie because I think by the time that comes out, I believe that will be it for October. And then afterwards, we have our 1 year anniversary, which will be a very special movie. So, yeah, but that's not for a while. So, thank you all for listening. Have a good whatever time it is when you're.
Bye.
If you would like to look at the full list of rankings for yourself, please visit r3.ldp.life and go to the Media Delta list tab. If you would like to watch Media Delta's sister show, Retro Rank Rhapsody, you can either watch at youtube.ldp.life or by tuning into twitch.tv/LoadedPuzzlo at 7:30 p.m. on Fridays, 2:30 p.m. on Saturdays, and 1 p.m. on Sundays. All those times are from the Eastern U.S. time zone. If you would like to discuss this episode with the community, you can do so by joining our Discord server which you can do so by going to discord.ldp.life. Thank you again for listening, and I hope you tune in for our next episode.